To make sure things go right over there. I'm trusting you.
I got no part in this. I'm just sitting here looking pretty. Or trying.
We're 5 seconds out.
They need somebody to do that.
I like that.
2, 1.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone that's with us today. We've got a really long agenda, so we will get started ASAP so we can move it along. I know many of you have a lot of work to do, so again, thank you all for being with us, and those of you that are out in the audience as well. First order of business is to adopt the agenda. I'm not sure if the one that you had mailed to you or emailed to you included...
It did, sir.
It did? Okay. So
moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Also, the next agenda item is the approval of the minutes. We have the April 24th and May 8th, May 15th meeting minutes. We need a motion to adopt those if there are no changes or corrections.
I make a motion to adopt the minutes.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, our flash reports. We're going to go through the strategic work of the authority. We're going to start with Pat Walker. Pat, thank you for joining us. You can come forward. And Pat is going to be prepared to present to us a brief report on the successful appreciation dinner and the rededication of the Vietnam Memorial. Pat, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good afternoon to everybody. Well, the weekend was indeed superb. From perfect weather to lots of special things that went off like clockwork. And don't ask me how, because I have no clue, but it did. On Friday, the dinner was attended by 121 people, not including the foundation. 17 awards or thank yous were given out to the people who had played an important part of the development of the memorial. From glass plaques to the framed pictures of the finished memorial, everything was received very well. Major General Fields was our guest speaker for the evening and brought the house down. He sang a verse of America, which was totally unexpected. He is a representative of the Vietnam War commemoration and a retired Marine who was stationed here for a time. Also enjoying the evening was General Ray Smith, Ilario Pantano from the Department of Veterans Affairs, Ray Clark, author of the book The Never Ending War, and we had some of the commissioners and the city councilmen were also there. And to top off the evening, Lee and I were presented a Civic Honor Award from the Amso County Tourism by Teresa Carter, and we received a nice plaque from the governor. For once, I was speechless, and I thank everyone who attended. Saturday started early, and the weather was outstanding. Speeches were short and to the point, and the Vietnam veterans were overwhelmed. And General Smith's words just hit a home run. As the veterans walked over the bridge to their memorial, their tears, smiles, and the talk of how beautiful the memorial was touching. And one veteran told us that this should be the national memorial. It was the most beautiful place to find closure and peace. It was not solemn or depressing. And I want to thank all of you who over the years supported the foundation and were encouraging when we thought we would never get to the end. I wish you all could have been there for the memorable weekend. Know that all of the foundation will always be grateful to Onslow County and the city of Jacksonville. And I provided a breakdown of expenses to Glenn in the heads on beds for you to see. We only filled 11 rooms, but we know there were people there from 5 states, and we're aware of many that came from all over North Carolina. And at this time, of the $4,500 left from last year's motorcycle run that we had put away for this event, we spent $550. And that concludes my report.
Pat, thank you so much, and many of us attended the events, and that was spectacular. You guys did just a tremendous job, and you know, I'd like to personally thank you for your dedication and service, and that's gonna leave a legacy in our community for a long time. So thank you again on behalf of our group.
Well, thank you for your support.
Board members, any comments, questions? Thank you again, Pat. Okay, next we have the Jacksonville, North Carolina Fashion Week. Glenn, who will...
Reverend Claiborne and LaToya Scott.
Okay, Reverend Claiborne, please join us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We are extremely excited. The Jacksonville NC, and we continue to say that so we don't get anyone confused with that other town that we don't call that other place. Jacksonville NC Fashion Week, myself, Mike Claiborne, along with LaToya Scott, are founders of Jacksonville Fashion Week, and it kicked off on last Thursday. We've been going forth since February, but it kicked off on last Thursday with a lunch and launch. Everyone knows Fashion Week is not something we created. Fashion Week was started in Milan, Paris, London, and New York City is the largest in the United States. And so because it is also in Philadelphia, it is also in many other cities and states. LaToya and I have a lot of connections with Fashion Week. She owns her own modeling agency in Philadelphia, where she helps train and manage models that travel all over the world, and I mean all over the world. India, Dubai, her models travel all over and are in many photo shoots. And so she managed them. I helped started Philadelphia Fashion Week about 13 years ago when we did not have one. And so because of that, New York being a big one, the theme for Thursday's lunch and launch was called A Bite of the Big Apple. Because Jacksonville is a little bit smaller, it's just taking a bite out of the Big Apple and bringing a major Fashion Week here. Fashion Week is going to embrace the community in a lot of levels because we have people coming from all over the world, even as far as India, Pakistan, and Dubai will be coming here to Jacksonville. So Jacksonville already is international, and that's something that our friends say is unusual because most Fashion Weeks start off local before they ever go international, and we are the first ones to ever go international on the first year. So that's exciting. The lunch and launch was attended by a lot of people from the media as well as some friends, and so we have the Daily News has already wrote about us, gave us a big page as well, and Oslo Times wrote a wonderful layout about us and called us this morning and want to offer us and give us the first 2 weeks of September. So we'll be getting each article full page layout as well. Thursday was also phenomenal because we got a chance to get the spark we needed and the fire we needed to get outside people excited as well as local people. And then Thursday we had the ribbon cutting that we was excited about. The Chambers came, a Millionaire came, and we had the ribbon cutting for Fashion Week. And as you can see, we were excited. Even Miss LaToya trying to hold on to those big scissors, which was a lot of difficult, but we had a wonderful ball. It's just a bite of the apple. We're bringing here, we're excited. We're reaching out to more local designers and models. We've had a few boutiques. We have something that's going to be called the Trunk Show. And the Trunk Show will open up to the boutiques. What we find out is that a lot of people know where the mall is. A lot of people go to the mall. But small businesses like boutiques along Henderson and some other places, most people don't know. So to be a part of our Fashion Week, our Trunk Show, we will create a map. And we've connected with boutiques to say, hey, we don't want to bring you all to one location. We want people to come to your location so they'll know where you are and kind of get embraced by you are, and they'll get a percentage just if they come with a ticket and a map to say Fashion Week. Saturday was the last day, and we'll end with this. Saturday, we really got nervous. We kept calling each other, talking about, is he going to help us? And she was like, you the pastor, pray, because it was cloudy on Saturday. It looked like it was going to rain. And I'm like, girl, he ain't going to listen to me today. It might be one of those days. But he listened because we didn't get any rain. up until like it was getting ready to come down at 6 o'clock. We started at 3 o'clock, and we wanted to give people a chance to walk the runway. There are so many women who would love to see what that feels like. They might not be tall enough, might not have, but we stepped out there, and it was fun. And Teresa and some of them will tell you, people really had a ball. I mean, folks were walking the runway, that we had a good time. We had a great DJ out there, and one of the young ladies who is big around the world now, she is Miss Full Figured USA Plus. She has won that title. She has decided to now come. She will model for us here in Jacksonville, which will bring people from everywhere to watch her and be excited about that. So she's coming along with a young lady by the name of Jules Shannon, who is a stylist to the stars and design for the stars. So we have a great time coming. Saturday was phenomenal, and I'm just glad that Jacksonville and Onslow County has embraced Latoya and I and Fashion Week. And this may sound ambitious, but I just wanted to be one of the big events that happened in Jacksonville, along with some of the great events that's in this room.
Pastor, thank you so much for the report. And
We have a short video we'd like to show you too. Thank you.
wow.
Quickly, I would like to say, and you might have saw in the picture the gentleman with the dreadlocks who stood up and the young lady in the green. We have a connection. North Carolina came on late into the fashion world. So Charlotte started it first with a 5-year run now. It's in Raleigh. It's in Fayetteville. Well, Wilmington had their first one in April. They have connected with us. So those two people are from Wilmington. They produce Wilmington Fashion Week. They are coming to be a part of it. Matter of fact, they're starting in their first model call for us. Wilmington have come to be a part of it. Charlotte is bringing a bus of 49 people, models and designers and boutiques. 49 people are coming. They'll all be staying in the room because they have to stay both days, and so that's heads on the bed. So we have people that are coming, and our push is that you got to stay both days. Yeah. We need people to stay both days. That's anytime they call us, it's like, can you stay? And let me tell you how ambitious we are. We're making all of us stay in the hotel, even though we live here, because I really want the tourism board to be excited to let us do this again next year.
Now you're talking our language.
Yeah, they'll be excited next year. So my wife and I, Latoya and I, we all made a decision. We're all going to stay in the hotel, even though we live here, just so that we can make the tourism say, "Hey, okay, let's try this, give them again." So that's our desire.
How do you say no to that dedication?
Thank you
very much for your report.
All of the designers are staying in the hotel too, so everyone has to stay 2 days to be able to stay over.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to its continued growth, and it's definitely an event that we've felt very positive about, and I know that our hoteliers are very pleased, so mission accomplished. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next order of business is our status report for our TDF, our Tourism Development Fund. Carmela George will lead the conversation with Teresa, and basically they're going to give us an update on the actions the authority took to award funds in the FY15 year.
Thank you, Mr.
Carmela?
Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your staff has been working diligently to meet with all these events and festivals and make sure that they are promoting Jacksonville in the best possible way in their planning and in their events, and making sure that they recognize the importance of putting heads on beds with their events. And so we have completed this far written agreements with each event that have embraced the criteria that you adopted for each one. We've met with each event at least once, some of them multiple times, to explain the purpose of the funds again and explain what the funds can be used for, and give them some feedback on what the direction they're headed in so far. We try very hard to keep a good pulse on what's going on with each event and any changes that are going on so we can keep you informed. We also talked about the importance of having an after-action report and what needs to be included in that so we can quantify how the funds were used for the next year. The few events that we have coming up here shortly include National Night Out, which of course happens here at the beginning of August. The Mount for Point motorcycle run happens mid-August. And then going into September, we have multiple events, including Jacksonville Fashion Week, of course, the Mind, Body, and Soul Empowerment, Riverwalk Palooza Festival, and the Vietnam Veterans Motorcycle Run. Teresa is going to go into a little bit more of what she's done on her side, specifically with a lot of the events.
In addition to attending all the meetings that Carmela and Glenn were in, we have, really a lot of this came on pretty quickly, but Jacksonville Fashion Week and Mind, Body, and Soul were the two newcomers. And so it took a lot, planning and meeting and preparation. But we've got the prints designed for Fashion Week, the website's completed, and we're getting daily prospective models and designers in just from the website. And we've done, really the push has been digitally into the news media. The launch was fabulous, we thought. Casting calls and talent searches are planned. We've got 3 more coming up the first 3 weeks of August, so that'll bring even more. And the media plan is nearly complete. With Mind, Body, and Soul, we are working as quickly as possible to finalize the logo and the website design, and production of that will be done in 2 weeks. So media planning and placement are already underway for that. Riverwalk Palooza, we will talk about a little bit later, but there's some elements to that were added, like the Friday night, which is fabulous, and I look forward to promoting that and helping put some heads on beds. So that one is most of them were in the media placement and planning. Motorcycle run is pretty much all put together, and everything is done for that, for the Vietnam, so we're ready for that one. And Montford Point is done. We did the posters and the print, and the media plan is in place for that as well. So inside the market and outside the market to bring those heads on beds. Oktoberfest, we've already had our marketing meeting and redesigned the print materials. Media partners are secured, and we're underway with that. Winterfest is secured, the media partners are secured, and we're moving forward. Jazz in the City, of course, has the American Legion built, and they're ready to proceed on. So we're having a planning board meeting, or I'm attending their board meeting, to do some planning in the next coming weeks. And the Grand Prix series with the base, all that has been put together and has been negotiated and put together, and all that is moving forward as well. So we've been quite busy, all of us.
You have.
One other thing that we should mention is that the Anzo Vietnam Veterans Memorial Run has changed. Usually it's an event they charge for, but this year, since they submitted the application, it has changed to a free event this year. So that might be something that they're seeking your approval on, for them to change it from an event that they're raising money for to a free event.
As you recall, when you adopt those expending, we adopt their application as part of the contract. So to making changes of it, you have to authorize those changes.
So is that an agenda item for us today?
We would like to add it as an action item for you, that you approve the change for the September Vietnam Veterans Memorial Run, and to acknowledge that it will be a free event rather than a charge event.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Teresa, thank you for the update. Carmela, and I think just for the benefit of our viewers, it may be good to just explain that whenever we fund an event or that has to do with marketing, and we fund those dollars. We don't give those monies direct to that organization. That's where Teresa comes into play, because this organization felt that hiring a professional and assisting these event coordinators with the proper professional marketing person would benefit our dollars and go much further in a more organized fashion, and that is where Teresa and her company come into play, and they've done a terrific job in helping these events and festivals that make them successful, or help them make them successful. So no monies go from us to carte blanche an event. Those monies are paid directly to the marketing agency to do the marketing work that we expect to be done. And that's just for information only. So thank you for the update. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next order of business is the Riverwalk Palooza issues. I'll turn it over to Glenn, but basically, change in the leadership of the Riverwalk Palooza has taken place, and part of the agreement was for tourism development funding, and it was brought to our staff. As a result, city leadership and others met with the board chairs for the sponsors of the event. Staff has acted to secure the competent professional staff to assist the successful operation of the event, and I'll let Glenn further explain where we're at with this event. Glenn?
Absolutely. We are grateful to the Chamber and its team for helping to step in at a time when this need was made. I think Laurette has been particularly candid, and we've been candid with her, and we don't know exactly what it's going to cost, but she's held a line that said that it's not to exceed $7,500 for what will happen there, and that's what we have provided to you for an agreement to provide. Further, because of our involvement with this, we're not leading it. The city staff is not. We've asked them to do that part. Or there might be some other incidental expenses, that permits or other things that we just don't know about. If we knew about them, we'd tell you now. We don't know what they are. And so we're just asking for approval up to $1,000 for any incidental costs. This is a result of this change in leadership and things that affect. So the matter before you, the authority is to approve this agreement, and we will make this part of the contracts for the two organizations, and then to authorize the payment of $7,500 for the agreement from the tourism proceeds of the occupancy tax, and to approve up to $1,000 for incidental expenses associated with this agreement in the same manner.
And this was already budgeted for. There's no additional funding.
By your action, we will move those funds to where they need to be.
But this was part of our...
Yes, this is within your
Initial
two-thirds
process.
money, basically.
Any question?
Now that that figure needs, the motion needs to be that the figure will be not to exceed 7,500.
Yes, which is also written in the agreement, and your attorney has also reviewed that before it ever was seen by you. And then the Chamber has also vetted that agreement too.
My question is the Onslow County Tourism, the leadership, is that part of they're part of the donation to the event to start with?
The county did make a contribution to Riverwalk Palooza.
That's what I was trying to...
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I was satisfied with that.
Okay.
But the staff will be chamber staff, not
Right.
Onslow County Tourism staff. That is who the agreement is with. The chamber, not Onslow County Tourism.
Are we clear?
You ready for a motion?
I am.
I move that we approve the agreement with the Jacksonville Chamber of Commerce, and to authorize the payment for the agreement not to exceed $7,500 from the tourism promotion proceeds of the occupancy tax. And also in this motion that we approve $1,000 for incidental expenses associated with the agreement in the same manner.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Glenn.
You're welcome, sir. And
Okay,
to the
next.
same matter is the Sports Expo. As you know, one of the things that we were most excited about was being able to have the folks that were participating in the Marine Corps Half Marathon come and see more of our community. That last year we were We were concerned, we didn't think about associating that with the Riverwalk Palooza event. They're on the same weekend. And so we are extraordinarily pleased the Jacksonville Onslow Sports Commission has agreed to host and manage the expo. And so toward the end of that, we just want to, you really don't have to approve it, but we're just asking you to memorialize that you understand that's what is to happen here. And it is the intention of the Sports Commission to draw what funds that they might need from that $10,000 that you've already allocated for sports-related activity that you put in your budget.
In support.
Ashley Backert is here, and she'll speak later on other subjects, but is there anything I left out of that, Ashley, that I should add? Okay.
Any questions?
Again, Mr. Chairman, you may want to remind the viewers at home that this money has already been allocated, and this is part of the funds that we anticipated may have to be used during the course of the year. And so these are funds that are already in place.
And I think this will be a tremendous benefit. I think will be a good thing to do. I have a motion.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Ashley. I think you've got more stuff coming up somewhere.
Yeah, you'll hear from me. Don't worry.
Okay. Strategic session outflow. Glenn?
As a result of the meeting that you held in April, in which you heard testimony from the Sports Commission and from the Chamber and County Tourism representative, you decided there would be some actions that you wished to take and that you wanted to advance the efforts toward those. And so on page 49 of your agenda, and for those following along at home, it's on the online version too, is that you wanted to create a record of what was providing evidence of the unique visitor that is to our community. And we already have some of that information that was done as part of the North Star Destination Strategies work that they did. And they're going to add to it some things that were the background information. They're going to put some narrative with it, and they're going to basically provide that to us so that in this document they will create this time, that will be the focus of the document, whereas in the work that they did for our destination strategies, it was to create the community brand. So they both had similar needs of research to be done, so rather than to hire a firm to come in and start all over again with helping us document the type of unique visitors that we have, this is an interesting way of doing this. They've agreed to do this for $1,200, and we are asking for your actions, your approval to proceed with that. I might mention that the other items that are in your strategy thus far is looking at an impartial study that would provide evidence of the need for destinations. The Sports Commission mentioned some firms, mentioned some activities that have been held in other communities that have done this as it was, and that there was an impartial study that would evaluate a type of destination, whether, obviously there was a lean towards sports, what type of sports type event would be the best, facility would be the best for that. We also wanted to create a website. It has been the strong opinion voiced to me by many on the authority. They don't want to recreate what the Chamber has done with the Onslow County Tourism. We, as staff, totally agree. This one would have a focus, though, of Jacksonville lodging facilities and some of the Jacksonville highlights. I think we agree they'll be able to use some of the resources that we do and vice versa. So these will be highly interlinked operations as it was there. And an improvement of highlighting visitor-friendly activities. Again, kudos goes to Teresa Carter and those. They brought an organization to this area that has helped put together a statewide calendar of events. And by having this even more made available and being able to promote that, we will achieve this goal as it is. So, Mr. Chair and Vice Chair, we're asking for you at this moment to help us with allowing North Star Destinations to prepare that report to us so we can at least put a check mark next to task 1.
Okay. Comments?
Well, this is something we've been working towards for quite a while, so this is encouraging that we've reached this stage and we can move to the next step.
It's a great idea.
If there are no other comments, I would Make a motion to authorize the staff to engage North Star Destinations to prepare a report of the unique visitors to Onslow lodging facilities for an estimated cost of $1,200.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Glenn?
Well, this next one is the work of North Star, and I want to acknowledge that we had some people in this room that have been extraordinarily beneficial to our benefit in looking and helping us with this. Steve Goodson is present with you. He has been a major voice in this action. We also, Teresa Beecham has been with us every step of the way, and we have involved some others within the community that helped guide us. You'll recall that in this community branding, there were different categories of people who were being looked at as who would receive this brand. And those categories had to be evaluated for some specific studies. And it is that why, if you notice under community, that research and planning audit, and of course to determine as to what who was it staying at our facilities, that's the type of research we mentioned that they needed for the community branding, and which is going to benefit us in determining those unique visitors that we have to our community. And toward the end of after a lot of processes were undertaken, they came up with our brand platform. And you recall that it was nearly a year and a half ago that we actually presented this to you for the first time, that for those seeking to express their love of country, Jacksonville, North Carolina, home to the largest Marine Corps base on the East Coast, Camp Lejeune, is where celebrating those that serve honors the freedom they provide, so you return home filled with deep pride in the past and great hope for the future. This is the brand platform that we are asking you to adopt today and to authorize us to proceed with it. Now, toward the end of providing some identity to that brand, we looked very closely at that brand narrative, and we created a number of words that are part of the vocabulary of what it is that we are speaking of. You'll notice in there welcome and warmth, patriotism, honors and appreciation, bravery, courageous, free, and freedom. Those are the type of language that will be used in executing this brand. And so our tagline, our strapline as they like to call it, is receive a hero's welcome. And you've already been provided with some documents that show how this can be used and how we can advance this in the way that we wish to portray our community outside of our community. As you know, your community brand, if you remember for the first time we talked about it, is what people say about you when you're not, they don't think they're talking to you. So this is the identity. It is the Freedom Fountain, something that this community uniquely did to recognize all those who come through Onslow County in service to their country. It is clean. It matches elements from the city's branding effort, so it has a relation to that. And of course, the tagline, receive a hero's welcome. We have distributed the research about how this was developed and what came from this. We have met with local community, and we've hoping now that we can apply this to those targets of the local community to build awareness of how we want to give hospitality to families. And with the strapline of receive a hero's welcome, we want to use that as the basis for a marketing campaign that will basically work this out so we can expand our community brand and make this something that people come to know us by. The next work is underway now about the wayfinding study. And that is, we've had the first visit from them, and they are working now on some procedures and some places where this wayfinding would be located. And we will work on, we'll give you more on that as it becomes available. The next use of this is going to be in some cooperative advertising, some institutional advertising that you will approve, and on sponsorships. In advance of that, we've kind of let some other folks know about the plans for this, and we're working them into the sponsorships and things that we're helping to support as it was, and then other special activities to give us some sort of awareness of what it is, because we have to promote this locally, but its principal positioning will be that of outside of our community. We have a benefit from this program that has been done in that shared research and the identity of the destination, and we are intending to share it with our partners and go forward with it. one of the things that we liked about doing that is the potential partners is some of the merchants and community members who see the tourism business in their as part of what they do in business. And so toward that end, it's thought that that little symbol might well be something that we share with the merchants and other people that are already welcoming our heroes here. And the tagline of that is "Heroes Welcome Here" would expand the brand of what it is that we're doing. I might tell you that Steve was the point that says that in that circle, this visual identity really does look good. So what we're asking for today is for you to approve the community branding, to adopt it. It was presented to you in an April 2nd report from North Star, and to authorize the staff to proceed with the implementation.
Glenn, thank you. That was a mouthful. As Glenn indicated, this has been a long, lengthy, well-thought-through process that involved a lot of people and a lot of time from folks, Steve and many others, Teresa, as Glenn mentioned.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention these Teresas.
And, yeah,
Teresa and
Teresa.
Laurette.
Oh, am I Teresa 3 now?
Yeah. Well, it might as well be.
But, you know, obviously a great deal of interest in making sure that what came out was what felt comfortable for the community. And I think from what you see before you, I think it's a job well done. Any comments, any concerns?
Comment I would ask is how much of this has been shared with the business community, and if so, what has been their overall reaction?
We have not, because you haven't approved it yet.
We have not shared it with many people other than the people that were involved in the creation of this through a long series of meetings and changes and
I'm confident we're going to get a lot more support once the community is aware of it, particularly some of the larger businesses. You know, banks in this town have a pretty large footprint, and they're very supportive of these kinds of things, especially images. And as we all said several months ago, matter of fact, a couple of years ago, the thing we want to sell is what's out there in that base.
yeah.
That's where our bread and butter is. It's about time we recognize the fact of what's out there.
And we need to note that this is not replacing the city seal.
No.
Oh, yes.
I think
Thank
that's
you,
an
sir.
important element. This is not replacing our city seal. Our city seal is our city seal. This is a branding logo for tourism-related marketing.
As a hotelier and business leader in the community, when I came across this in April, and Glenn brought it to my attention, I absolutely loved it and embraced it. I actually have a banner in my hotel that we use when teams come, like soccer teams, volleyball teams, that kind of thing, and it says, "Welcome teams and families where everyone receives a hero's welcome." So I tweaked it a bit, but I've already put it in place. So.
Okay, right.
Mr. Chairman, just a
Ernie?
question.
Absolutely.
Generally, when you brand, you do a branding project, also involved is some symbolism, or, for example, I noticed that there's some shrubbery around, and is there any symbolism for the number, the shape, design, or what have you, that we can also sell to people? I'm just thinking if there was something thought out in that. For example, our fountain has some symbolism in it, but I'm trying to figure out the other items and everything. Do they have any symbolism, or they just placed it?
They had a rather great picture of the Freedom Fountain. We had to do a representative drawing of it. Mm-hmm. So this is a much refined symbol of the Freedom Fountain. It does not include all the 50 bubblers and the 3 fountains representing the state, local, and federal government, nor the single Freedom Spire there. But
Right. I just wanted to know. So it's all just
It's
water.
symbolism.
In other words, it's symbolizing water.
it's not an accurate.
I understand, but one thing I do like about it from afar, and if you could go back to the one that's on the door, if you look at it, it just seems like, it seems like it's all one. And the separation and everything is brought closer together.
You're singing Steve Goodson's song. He must have written that for you.
I know, I'm just telling you. It just looks, it looks so much better from afar because it looks like unity. That's
It
what,
comes together.
yes.
And I think one of the key elements that, as you look at other community brands, the simplicity of them is real important. And too much detail really takes away. So in this, we looked at we struggled with the fountain quite a bit, the way the water was shaped and how it came out. And so we were able to see a bunch of different variations, but this was the most simplistic one that was easy to look at, and it could be changed based on the application.
Command the fountain again, Glenn. Command the fountain again. We've already got our nice branding on that thing to start with because it says the Tourism Authority, and that's wonderful because that proves.
Well, that shows you how we can change it. And
Yeah.
we do want to
Depending
make
on
sure
the situation.
the visual identity is a great part of this and will be your way into it. But it's the whole brand platform. You saw all those words that can be used. You heard how Lindsay is adapting it to her use. That's what we want to do. And as you saw, where heroes welcome here, that's part of it. It's there. But you folks will own this brand. You will be the responsible party for this brand. And so as your staff, we will have to be the police, for how it is used as such there. But we want it to go out into the community. We want to push it out. And we're going to ask the chamber and others to help us do that, particularly to the hospitality community, to allow them to embrace it as they show desire to.
Glenn, just a question. John perhaps can answer this from a legal point of view. Should there be any initials or anything on that to make sure that
one of the
it is-
things that you're going to ask, authorize us to do is to proceed with implementation. And in the document we gave you, there were some very specific actions that they've instructed us to do. This is going to protect just what you're referring to.
Right, and the reason I say that is someone brought up, and I thought it was a good point, it's not our city seal. Well, if you look at that, I mean, it doesn't say anything about tourism on it. And it may very well be.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
Some of them do, and yeah, but I'm just saying, I just think we need to clear that so that there's no mistake about it, where it's coming from. So, we don't have any argument in the future. That's all. It's almost like a trademark type deal.
Well, that brings up an interesting question. We've seen two of them. Is this going to be the semi-official one here?
Well, there are several, and in the branding guide, it gives you a breakout of all of those, when they're used, to be used, and when there's even elements that will be allowed some people to use by themselves and to proceed with that too. So the book is very good in telling us, giving us suggestions to do that.
Well, we've been working on this for a number of years, trying to get a branding for lots of things, but this it's time to move it, so let's move it, okay? So I'm going to make the motion. We adopt the branding strategies outlined in the April 2nd report from the North Star, and to authorize the staff to proceed with implementation.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now,
Glenn?
excuse me, I'm assuming that as this thing is implemented, we'll have reports.
Yes, you'll have a
almost-
full book and...
We hope the first event that you're going to see it at is going to be National Night Out.
National Night Out, great, okay.
But just please
That's
remember,
gonna
this
be
is
the-
not replacing the city seal.
Thank you. Thank you. So we can all keep our jobs, those of us who...
It's not going to be on the police cars, it's not going to be on the fire truck, it's not going to be on the...
The next item is a capital reimbursement request. Many of you know, and for those that might be listening in or are not aware, the city made a commitment to the Museum of the Marine for $1 million. Those funds have all been paid into an account or have been distributed to the museum. One of the restrictions of the funds that are in the account is that the funds are to be used for brick and mortar. and or construction rather, of the matter. And so consequently, the Museum of the Marine has presented a request for reimbursement for the cost that they had to pay to the Department of the Navy for the lease and for the surveying that was necessary for that lease. Staff has reviewed this, and we are recommending that you release $13,850 to the Museum of the Marine from the TDA reserved funds for expenses associated with the construction of Phase 1.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Boy, you guys are in a hurry to get out of here,
Yeah,
aren't
we
you?
did it. It's done.
No discussion on that?
Second by everybody.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next order of business is fund development request from the Museum of the Marine. I will ask the chairman of the board of directors, Dave Brown, to please join us. Dave,
Thank you very much.
thank you for joining
I don't know
us.
if there's a video now ready to go, but
If
let's
you'd like to play that, we can make that happen.
make it happen. That's the introduction. The heartwarming part, the next 4 minutes, and that's all it is, 5 minutes, is being developed. We've had the crew down here making films 2 weeks ago, and that came out very well. And they're putting all the renderings in as if you're walking around the building and things like that. So that'll be the graphics added to all that. So that'll be a real big plus, which we'll put onto our social media, and then I'll use it for introductions when I'm making my pitch. Quick summary, real quick. We're doing real well, I think, with our contacting people we need to contact. We got Governor Hunt alerted, and he's going to provide us some assistance. Dick Leinenkugel, who's got Leinenkugel beer and 4 generations of Marines in that company out of Chickasaw Falls, Wisconsin, has invited us up there. They were a primary lead donor that we're looking at. The owner and president of Home Paramount, Walter Tilley, flew his plane down here about a month ago, and he's pumped as can be. He's got 6 or 8 states where he's the dominant pest control people, and he'll be down in about a month too. One more visit, but we have asked him for contributions and things like that already. And Goodnight's been contacted through a series of people, and she was saying, what education efforts are you going to make because she's education focused. And you know, as a matter of fact, we were able to share with her the fact that we're going to set up in the Oswego County Schools a pilot program for education, and I'm meeting with Dr. Leslie Eason and Pat Thomas here next week, and so we'll be setting that up, and that'll run then all the way into when we finally have the building up, and it'll be a full-fledged education program. There's many other advantages, and I would like SAS Corporation to give us a hand designing these things, and they can bring them in. Camp Geiger is Roy Geiger. His nephew is Chuck Geiger, an aviator, and his son was an aviator, but his son said, hey, Dad's into this all the way, so I'll be talking to Chuck Geiger real soon, as soon as I get a breath of fresh air to do that. That's probably a week or so away. And I really envision a Geiger Hall, just like a Camp Geiger, same family, and they have inroads there. We will have a Wilmington Gala now set for March 14th down there at Landfall Country Club, so we're sourcing funds from there, and also a New Bern Gala. That's going to be in May or June. That date has not been set. I wanted to also tell you real quick that I'm enlarging our scope of people, and it's not going to be the myopic small group, town group here. Colonel Adele Hodges, I think you all remember her as a base commander, is going to be joining the advisory board. Ilario Pantano has signed up. Ambassador Britton, who was a Montford Point Marine, has signed up, and I have a couple other general officers who signed up. So this is kind of give us a larger one. I will get some senior politicians to do that too. So here we are today. I'm looking for support. One of my pledges was to get outside of Onslow County, and why? Because the people coming in are going to be using these beds that we're concerned about, and so I wanted to get to New York City. That's a source of about 30% of the Marines from that tri-state area, and I really want to get there. And about 2 months ago, Eden Gordon came and was introduced to me, and she is a absolutely amazing person, one-man show, and she gave me all sorts of recommendations, and they were very senior people in the New York City and Washington, D.C. area, and I can tell you that, associated with all the senators and governors and all that. One said she's got an incredible Rolodex, fantastic networking, fantastic media relationships. The other one said the best, there's nothing she can't do, and this is Dee Dee Banky. I don't know if any of you know of Dee Dee Banky, but you do. So she's a very prominent newscaster and then I talked to someone who was involved with her fundraising effort, and her idea is ideal candidate, raise lots of money for the Bronx. It's not the Bronx. It's a project they have up there in New York City. And the other one said, made everybody happy, hard worker, she'll take the extra mile. So this is the person. I checked out each one of them, I talked to them all, and all of a sudden, we've been talking about New York City because this is my objective, reworking this contract that I've written. And you've met her, I know that, so is Melody. She's full of energy, and the next thing you know, she's got all these visitations planned up in Washington, D.C. with our elected congressional people, North Carolina and South Carolina. Well, I'm thinking, this is not New York City. That's my initial thought. But her thought is very logical, and I'll let Sergeant Major Hoole, he just got back last night. We just, at lunchtime, turned in his rental car. You know what? If somebody from New York City calls our Congress people, Congressman Jones and others, and says, you know anything about this museum? They'll say, I don't know. So you had to get this thing done first, and did it they ever. And Joe, could you give us a quick summary of your visit up there, sir?
I can. We got up there, I got up there Monday night. Tuesday we had our very first meeting with Congressman Jones and his chief of staff. And we also seen the legislative folks from Mike Sanford, Joe Wilson, Leslie Graham, and then we seen Congressman Todd Young from Indiana. As I went into each one of these things, walking down the halls of the Congress and the Senate up there, the number of people that work for other congressmen and everything would come out and say, how you doing, Eden? I haven't seen you forever. She's got a connection that's just unbelievable, the connection that this lady has for. When we left Congressman Jones's office, the chief of staff had called a couple of people that he knew in New York. Before we could get to the next Joe Wilson's office, there was 2 people called from New York and said, when are you going to be here? All right, 20 minutes or half an hour after we left Congressman Jones's office, and some of you have probably already seen it on Facebook, she put my picture and Congressman Jones' picture on Facebook, and by that afternoon had over 60 hits. And I guess they want to hang it up in the head to keep the rats out of the head more. This lady is really, really connected, really connected. We got into Congressman Young's office yesterday, and it was a classic. Congressman Young is a former Marine intel officer. Okay, young intel officer. Very pumped on what we're doing. You can see the difference between the museum in Quantico and our museum here, and how they're going to be able to complement one another. But when we went into his office and sat down, before anything's happened, he turned to his chief of staff and he says, "That's the sergeant major. Don't make him mad." So he said other words, but I'm not going to, because we're on camera, I'm not going to say what he said there. But this lady has got so many connections. She, the person who owns all of the supermarkets in New York City, called her yesterday when we were having coffee at Starbucks, and said, "When you coming back up?" Because she had fundraised and worked for him and was worked over the years with him. So they already know that she's on her way to New York, and she's going to kick some doors open. And all the congressmen, Jones and Young and the other representatives, says, "We're here to help. You want us to come to support your galas? Let us know in plenty of time and get on our calendar. We'll be there if we can be there. Or if you want us to call people in the different states," and Congressman Jones says there's a few people in Wilmington and in Richmond. You can almost imagine who the people were that he would call, open the door up, introduce the Museum of the Marine. So it was one, and I forgot how long the halls of Congress are. By the time I got down Tuesday night, I was ready to get my car and come home. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Major.
Thank you, Sergeant Major. So back to New York City. I've been trying to get up with Commissioner Kelly through his executive assistant, and he always answered the phone, but I never get anything back. Sent him one of our Long Live the Legends brochures and the like, and don't get anything back. She knows and has worked with both Commissioner Kelly, Mrs. Kelly, and son Greg Kelly. Son Greg Kelly is a commentator and one of the hosts for Good Day New York. And he is a FA-18 Marine Corps type pilot and was a captain, got out. And he is a candidate, very popular conservative talk show on television up there in New York, and is interested in being our national spokesperson. And that'll be kind of centralized there. We will get a lot of visibility. Jacksonville will get a lot of visibility. This will not go to Sleepy Hollow. In fact, she even sent a blurb up there, and that was played on the July 4th, and so we've got some feedback from that. So I would like to have her and use her services for 6 months. And I will say things like she's already set me up with Gary Salisi, a company coming in town on the 19th, here in Jacksonville, the 19th of August.
September.
And September, is it September? Okay, September, you're right, I'm wrong. And so all that's being locked on, and it's being locked on in the month of July. We have not signed a contract yet, and we were talking about, as whether or not you approve it is a key thing. We're talking about going from September, got my months right here, August 1st to February 1st, or end of January. But I think I'm going to want to modify that because of this work and the work she's doing already with Gary Sinise and all that, to July, cover that month, and also an end at the end of December. So it'll be the same 6 months. We're talking about the same amount of requested dollars. And I don't have anything else, Mr. Chairman.
Dave, thank you very much for the update. And it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of work and making some good headway. Members, you have any comments, questions? Don't go away, Dave. Dave, you're not off the firing line here.
Oh, no, not again.
Nope.
I was extremely impressed with her when we met, Melody and I and Mr. Brown here. So, I mean, she even said names that I recognize, not ever running in New York and in DC circles, because I'm a North Carolina girl all the way. But I do feel that she's very well connected, and being able to get them into doors that they, would not otherwise be able to do. So I think it would be a good use of our funds. What was the requested amount again?
$33,000. That's
For 6 months.
12,000 for travel.
That's for 6 months.
6 months, yes.
No, please.
Thank you. I was also impressed with what she knows, and also the email that came out the other day, and what you're talking about, everything that's been done and happening so far. So, we'd love to have a museum of the Marine. I mean, it would do so much for our city, and, I stand behind it 100%. I would really love to see it go up.
Mr. Chairman, I met with Colonel Brown and this young lady. She's very impressed. I was with her over an hour, and I asked her a lot of questions, and I got good answers. And I was very much impressed with her. She's not a fly-by-nighter. She's a worker. You can see that right off the bat. She's farming with Fox News.
I like her already.
For 2 days.
As you know, you've been in front of this board a couple of times, and we've had some tough questions for you. And one of the things that I've always asked is, have we had any results? And I think we have funded you some money in the past, and so I'll ask again, have we had any monetary results from some of the previous things? And by the way, this is not going to sway my vote one way or the other, so.
I understand that. The answer is, at this point, no. The answer that I'm expecting with Walter Tilley, coming down next month again, we've already planned that this will be the yes time, and we will get something from him at that point. And John Bunting, who you know is the former coach from North Carolina, he and I are meeting for about the third time, and he's now got the Fred Smith's of FedEx email address and personal phone number, and we're going to set up a meeting there. He's been very generous with the national, and he could help us there too. John knows his son very well because they were coaches, football coaches together and things like that. So that's going to take place. There's a lot. You can't do this thing real fast. There's a cultivation process that takes months. I mean, when did you first help me? Back there in about March, I believe. Yeah, somewhere around March of 13. Well, we've gotten a long way. We've come a long way, but that cultivation is just
Starting to come true.
It is, and I'm very keyed about it. There's other initiatives that have been made by board members. I focus principally on fundraising with them one at a time, and so they each has their own obligation. And so, Ken, it's a long time to get this money.
I understand.
And I'm working real hard on it.
I wanted some of that to be out in the public for public consumption, and so that's why I asked that question earlier. Yep.
Sir, just real quick on Sergeant Tully. Sergeant Tully is a combat engineer, early 70s, that was here. Ended up having to get out medically out of the Marine Corps. But when he flew down here, I went to pick him up at the airport. He very much wants to get involved. And again, we could probably see one of the galleries with his name on it, or someone with his, if not the building. The man could pay for the whole shooting match with one check. I mean, he's not going to do that probably, but the man is very, very into helping us this year. I was very impressed with Sergeant Tully in his combat engineer experience.
Thank you.
So let me make sure I understand. The money that you're asking today is you're going to get to New York. And that's where the door.
It's an outreach program for
That's where the doors are.
New York is the focal point, and then they talk generally from there. There's a tri-state area, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, and the reaches go beyond there.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, later in our report, we will show that our proceeds are not projecting for the coming year like we had anticipated. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve up to $15,000 for this, and that as reports come back, we would consider future expenditures if things look good. That would be my motion.
That's a motion. I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
And so would that 15,000 be for 3 months instead? Are we gonna?
Yeah, and then
just
review
have
it.
I'll second it.
I have a motion, a second. John, you had a comment?
I was just doing the math. If you take her numbers here that she's provided, if you
Just
did
divided.
about 3
Yeah.
months, that'd be 16,500. I don't know if you want to.
I'll amend my motion to say 16,500.
Okay. Do I have a
I'll second that.
second? Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Good luck to you and hope to
Thank you
hear
very
some
much.
good news.
While you're
Okay.
now.
Now we're going to do our
got his
status
back.
reports. Ashley, Sports Commission Executive Director.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us again, and the floor is yours.
Perfect. We've had a little bit of discussion. I'll talk about the expo, but kind of going a little bit chronologically. First off, the East Coast Invitational was just held at the Commons Recreation Center, Jacksonville Commons Middle School, and Northside High School. Talked to Wells Village, the event director, and he said that all the players and the coaches were raving about the hospitality, everything that they did at the tournament, the facilities. So kudos to the city and the school system for allowing us to use their facilities and to the hospitality sector, because you guys hit a grand slam. I mean, this continues to be one of our top events. So we're following up on a couple more things. We're probably looking at right around $300,000 in economic impact with 24 teams. So very pleased with that event. Moving forward, we will be hosting Oslo County's inaugural football jamboree. This is a brand new event that we're working with all 8 high schools on, hosting their JV and varsity at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune. It will be held on August 12th, 6 to 8 p.m. It's a Tuesday, which is kind of weird. Everyone keeps asking me and thinks I got the date wrong. But there was a little bit of a conflict with one of the schools participating down in the Wilmington BB&T event. That has kind of gone away, but we didn't want to change anybody's schedule. So the idea is that this really just be a kicking off, a chance for us to get our feet wet in the operations of it, make sure that the business community sees the value in it, and then really kind of expand the event next year. We'd love to turn it into a 16-team jamboree, moving into an all-day type event of a festival, definitely bringing in outside schools, heads on beds, and a lot of spending power. So again, just the kickoff to that. We will be running the expo, which we were very surprised. You know, we've been working with Teresa and we've been working with Everett and Glenn, just discussing this whole idea of it, and in no time we went ahead and started making the original phone calls, and we've already got national companies, Spy Belt being probably one of that runners would recognize, that are very interested. Brooks is willing to come to the table and at least talk about it. You know, Cliff Bar said absolutely we would have been there, but we need about 2 more months just to prepare for the travel side of it. So already we're seeing a lot of really great interest in this event and what we're trying to accomplish. So we've already sold 2 vendor booths. We don't even have a vendor packet, and we already sold 2 vendor booths. I know, I'll take it. So we've got about 42 people on our list, and we haven't heard a no, we're not interested yet. A lot of it has really been the let me check and see what we can pull with staff. So we're really excited about that event. Sanctioning our committee that basically approves all of our partnerships with different events met today. We're excited. I can't release too much. However, we do have a new high school women's basketball event that's coming in, and we're going to be bringing in 2 Australian teams to come and play in their tournament at Northside High School. So we'll be an international community, not just in Fashion Week, but in sports too. And they'll be here for 4 to 5 nights, just kind of touring the community and playing. So we're really excited about that. A lot of sports. I mean, we kind of took a little bit of a break. It's too hot to do anything here. We don't have the indoor facilities to cool them down. So we kind of take a break. But we're going to start kicking up here shortly with a lot of soccer. I feel like soccer is all I'm going to be looking at in the next couple of months. So really, that's what I have for you guys.
Thank you. The chairman had to step out for just a couple of minutes. On the East Coast basketball tournament that was held this past weekend, it's really become a tremendous event. I talked to a few of the coaches from out of town just to make sure, get a feel for how they felt about it and how they were being treated. And like you just expressed, they're just ecstatic with the facilities, they're ecstatic with the hotels that are available, the restaurants that are close by. This is really a good event, and this is what we do. I mean, you know, we fund the opportunity for these events to happen, and with our partners, we're able to put some business into their places, so that's...
And Steve was able to give me a little bit of a background, because it's been here 14 years. We've had very large companies actually go to the tournament director and ask to steal it away and move it into other areas. And the partnership with Jones Onslow has been incredible for that event to stay here. We just recently had a visitor from another community who tried to steal it or want to replicate it in theirs. And Wells was just very receptive and said, we love it here. We're going to stay here. So,
well, we're fortunate to have Wells
yes.
as the major person in the event, and he likes what's happened here. But, you know, it has been going on for 14 years, and we have some teams that have participated all 14 years that come from way outside of this community, and they keep returning. And I can tell you, as somebody who's been involved with sports for 150 years, that getting high schools to come back to a venue year after year after year is quite an accomplishment. And in some of these schools, the coaches have changed, but the value of this event has sunk into their communities, and they come back, you know, year after year because they know it's a good event. They also know that they're going to have good accommodations and that they're going to be taken care of. So.
And this is also a sanctioned event, not at the D1 level. That'll go into next year, but we had D2, D3, and AIA coaches coming and recruiting, scouting. We actually had professional players. Reggie Bullock was in attendance on Sunday and handed over the championship trophy, so we had some NBA players in attendance. So it never ceases to amaze me every time I walk in there, the people that are there. And
keep it coming. We were sold out.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and just say it was all me, and but you're welcome.
Steve
We like hearing that.
because he was there.
We like hearing about the lodging facilities.
Yeah.
It's good to hear that.
Ashley, anything else?
No, that's all I have.
Any questions for Ashley?
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks.
All right, next order of business is the tourism work by the Jacksonville Onslow Chamber of Commerce. Teresa?
Thank you. Okay, this has been a busy season for everybody. Just finalized our new partnership for the Only in Onslow magazine. We've added one new partner, the Albert Ellis Airport, which this allowed us to increase the number of pages from 4 to 8, and it will allow us to offer our partners for the same price, $2,000 per organization. They will get an additional page, and this will allow them the ability to tell their story. It's an editorial piece, not an ad. So our partners, the Jacksonville Onslow Economic Development, Jacksonville Onslow Sports Commission, and Onslow County Tourism will partner with Albert Ellis Airport, and this should be coming out, I think, in September. The Daily News is printing the new magazine this year. Second, we are in the process of reprinting our attraction map. We print 100,000 copies of this map. The city and towns of Richland, Swansboro, and North Topsail are on one side with Jacksonville, and then the county is on the other side. It lists hotels, the attractions, the bike trails, the kayak trails, birding locations, schools, the chambers, anything that you can think of that visitors would be interested in finding during their stay. We have found a new company that will print the map from Asheville, North Carolina, which is going to allow us to lower the cost. And so what we're going to be doing is we've opened it up to partners. We have 10 ad spaces. I have looked at so many maps that look like advertisement pieces and all the ads, and then the map is like that. That is just the opposite of what we want to do here in our communities. So we will limit the number of ads on the map to just 10, 5 on each side. And we'll be able to offer that at a cost of $500, which last year when we produced, it was $800. So we're able to offer a lower cost to our partners and reduce the number of advertisers on the map. And we will still print 100,000 of those maps. Our hotels love them. I think in about a year and 2 months, we went through 100,000 maps. So we're excited to be reprinting those again. We have just hired a new marketing group to come in and do some limited Google ad promotion for us to increase traffic on our website and our Facebook. Throughout the process, they will be training my assistant so that she'll be able to take over the process after they've done this project, because it's a very limited scope project that we're working on. And basically what we're trying to do is the Google ads allow us to go in and select specific markets that we want to get into, and then drill down to specific targets that we're looking for. And an example would be Fashion Week. We would be able to go into the communities that they think that they need and have interest in, and we would be able to go in and say, we're looking for people interested in fashion, and they would be able to pull up those people, and we would be able to get their ad in front of those folks on Facebook and the website. So we'll be doing that for the next couple of months. We're also in the process of working on the 2015 Visitor Guide. We just want to take this opportunity, since we're on G10, to let the public know, if you are a hospitality industry and you reside within Onslow County, you are able to self-enter your information, your organization, onto onlyinonslow.com. Please go and enter your information or update your information. It's free and open to any county organization, so that we can make sure when we print the guides, your information is in there and up to date. Little word about the hurricane situation that we found ourselves in July 4th. Very inopportune time for us to have a hurricane, but it was a little eye-opener for us as well. As we went through the process, we found ourselves realizing that a lot of our general managers were on vacation because of July 4th. So when I called all the hotels to get out to the hotels, I literally had to go to about 12 of our hotels throughout the day and actually put them on the emergency management system, because the staff did not know how to get on the system and get the information. One thing that it did help is Jacksonville did sell out July 4th. And that was because all the electric companies and stuff thought that because the storm was going to hit Carteret County and Outer Banks, that we would be the staging ground. So we did get a couple of sold out nights because of it. But we will be doing a training at the next hotel motel meeting again to get everybody up to date and ready for any future weather problems. Other thing is, few of you might know, if you want to be a star, we are having a movie filmed in Jacksonville at the Lazy H Rodeo, July 28th through the 30th. If you will contact our office, we will give you the link to register. The way they're handling it is, for every day that you volunteer, $10 is donated to the USO. It's going to be 10 to 12 hours, long hours, but they will feed you and take very good care of you while you're out there and stuff. So here's your chance if you've always wanted to be in the movies. So give us a call. Occupancy tax figures in May, we were up 5.3%. Which brings us for the year 0.44% down, which is about 6,500 from the same time last year, with 1 month left to go. And that's my report.
Thank you, Teresa. Any questions? Okay, authority governance, Glenn?
We That's about the future meeting dates there. Just want to mention the tax collections for the city are in your package there, and so if you wanted to discuss any of those or whatever. But on the future meeting dates, we did prepare for you a document where we are looking at having this on basically the fourth Thursday of the month. That'll give us more time. As you know, we tried to hold this as close to the 20th of the month so we could give you the most recent collection data, and it doesn't always work that way. And so we'd like to go to the fourth Thursday and see if we can do something on there. We have fewer conflicts. Obviously, November is a conflict in and of itself by definition, so we just moved that 1 week early. And so you do not have to take action on this today. This might be a good time for everybody to check their calendars and see how things look, and then let us know. And if we have 2-3 people that can't come, we'll change it. And then you could adopt it at your next meeting if you'd like to do that.
Give you all a chance to review it, and if there's any conflicts, please let us know, and we'll make those changes. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and vote on it next meeting, if that's okay with everyone. Okay, future reports and activities.
We're looking for your guidance as to what you want us to work on for a future report. What we're hoping to do is to bring to you some potential candidates for some of those studies, the task 2 and 3 studies, and to have something like that you can.
Well, that was going to be my comment. The next order of business for us is to move forward on the sports facility complex study that we want to engage in, that I highly recommend that we start moving towards, and also to develop strategic planning with the hoteliers and restaurateurs to build some support for such activities. We need to get the hotel industry involved, and we would like to get the restaurant industry involved, into making sure that moving forward with this multi-purpose complex facility that we've been talking about is something that is desired by the two entities, which we feel like they are, because from what we hear is that facilities are a problem, and that in order to get more heads on beds through sports, we're going to have to increase our facilities. So we'd like to get some involvement there. So I would ask that that's the sort of work we need to head towards.
Yes, sir.
At least in the future.
And if someone's got some suggestions for some firms that should be considered, believe you me, we are open-minded at this end about reaching out to them. We've got a number of communities to contact, and we're going to be trying to see what we can find.
Great. Thank you so much. Anyone have any comments? Board members? Any reports? Anything at all? Once again, thank all of you for all your hard work, and there's a lot going on, and a lot going on behind the scenes in order to try to get our facilities and lodging filled up. We'll continue to work towards that endeavor. So, without further ado, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.